TrueDavid2, on the surface, might seem like the YouTube account of a regular Roblox player, and that is what it was, at first, until David stumbled across something he was never meant, or perhaps always meant, to see. The channel has 8 videos, sorry 9, as of now, all of which were posted within the year. The channel itself was created on March 3rd, 2021. Now that you know everything you need to know, welcome to TrueDavid2. The first entry on this channel is sort of an investigative video by David himself. He finds a Roblox place titled Maze Repeating created by Ardor827, who always seems to be in the studio. The game itself also seems to be constantly updating every few minutes. David joins the game and has this white heart illuminating his surroundings. He also shows this red wall or fog. He speculates if it's a myth, says he's going to take a look at it, and the video ends. This is one of the more bare bones videos on David's channel, and is basically just a slideshow. But that doesn't mean there isn't anything to analyze here. If we look at the description of the game, it reads, "Come back to me," repeating, then "I'm sorry," and "please." Now let's look at the creator themselves, Ardor827, or just Ardor. When opening their profile on Roblox, the only thing of interest is the description, "Proceed to 828. Right now it means nothing, but later it will make sense. I decided to visit Ardor's one and only place, titled Untitled Place, and I was just met with this. Just a black base plate and some fog. The second entry is titled Encounter, and we're off to a strong start here. This crumple effect transitions into the opening of the video, and we'll see this a lot, so I'll explain what I think it means later. Anyways, we see that David is joining Ardor's game. He explains the red thing is the sky, and this setup with the mushrooms definitely looks weird. Now we see this heart item again, and he picks it up. He navigates around this maze-like structure, and does a bit of parkour. A song starts playing that apparently David cannot hear, giving him a headache and causing him to go AFK. While David is AFK, his mouse moves in odd patterns. Take note of this because these patterns are absolutely not random. After he gets back, David continues moving through the maze, and when at this hallway he decides to go through this small passage, another distorted song starts playing. And yes, if you haven't already noticed, songs are part of this series, and, well, I'll play it for you to see first. Yeah. First, let's break down the end, because we have 3 things happening here simultaneously. First, this song. I believe it's a song called Winter Depression, and there's symbolism in the lyrics, but we'll talk about that later. Because what is this thing? A red figure comes out of the fog and starts repeating this. I don't know what it was, but this was genuinely one of the most disturbing scenes I've personally seen in my time watching ARGs, and was what inspired me to make this video in the first place. I've taken the liberty of reversing the audio, and this is what it sounds like. So yeah, and back to the earlier part of the video, the song playing which causes David to leave is called Why Do You Love Me? More symbolism there. Remember how I said the mouse patterns weren't random? Yeah, well, if you trace the movement of the mouse, you can see it spells out help. H-E-L-P. And now we have the figure itself. The way it moves almost makes it look like it's breaking out of the Roblox window, which is pretty creepy to me. And then we see this crumple effect again. Now, even though we've gone through a lot in this video, we don't really know much about that creature or the phenomena itself. Although you could make the inference that as the creator's avatar is red, and the creator is always in studio, maybe the creature is him? So I'll be referring to this red creature as Ardor from now on. Things will be more apparent in video 3. The third video is titled Aversion, and is a nice little break for us as the audience. We see David in his own Roblox game, a serene base plate with some benches, flowers, and a nice sunset. David explains that he had no idea what the creature was, like us, and when he saw it, he almost couldn't breathe. He couldn't think of anything but the creature. He's going to avoid it. He says he knows it wasn't a person, but it also wasn't part of the game. He implies it was something else, a ghost in the machine. The fourth entry is titled Ardor. I guess he couldn't avoid it for long. It begins with David showing off a parkour place he's been working on. He says that there's a teleporter at the top to the place in his last video, the sunset game. He tries to leave, but can't, and this audio begins playing while the screen crumples again. He then works as fast as he can to make it to the top, with a scream in the background. When he gets to the top, the screen begins crumpling again. It seems like he can't go to the teleporter, and then Ardor appears. He calls David creator, says he wants to love him, and then David shoots him. He teleports back to his game and is now safe. He can leave. That was a lot. Well, first, David shooting Ardor. If you look, the shotgun was a gear named Boom that he had had since the beginning of the video. When he hovers over it, it's called an entity blaster. So, David must have at least some knowledge he's concealing from us. If he could manufacture this anti-Ardor shotgun, either he got lucky or he knows something about Ardor. Now, what Ardor says to David. This is definitely more odd. He sees David as his creator and wants to give him love, whatever that means. But I think this means we can rule out Ardor being some sort of human trapped inside of Roblox. More likely, he's an AI. Now, we're gonna break the progression here and stop watching videos, because David posted a community post to his wall about 20 days after this happened. I'll read it out for you all. I've been recovering in the ICU for a while, but I'm back now. I went into cardiac arrest near the end of my last video, while I was being chased by that red thing. I don't remember a lot, but my heart just started going crazy as soon as I saw it around that corner. It somehow made it so that I couldn't close the game either. As for the cardiac arrest, I know it has to be connected somehow, especially considering that I'm 19 and have never had any heart issues. How would I have told the doctor though? Do I say, oh, this freaky looking ketchup packet thing chased me in a game and somehow made my heart shut down because I physically couldn't look away from it? Yeah, not doing that. I could have died. I almost did. For some reason, I don't feel terrified about it. The only reason I'm still breathing is because of my sister. She's a nurse. And she just happened to come into my room and start CPR. My mom and stepdad were too busy watching TV and drinking all night. If she wasn't visiting, I would have died there on the floor. Even in the ICU, she was the only one who bothered to visit. I know this is a serious, weird, unexplainable situation, but I really don't want to quit Roblox because of this. This game has been my escape from life for a long time. I know it sounds dumb as hell. I know. If I were anyone else, I'd just install a VPN and create a new account. But I've never been like that. I want an explanation. I always do, and I never get one. How did it get into my game? Why was it watching me? Why did it chase me? Why can't I bear to look away from it? Why did it say those things to me? And most importantly of all, just how did it cause my heart to stop? I need to find the reasons, and I need your help. I know you're just as confused as I am. I'll upload again soon. Okay, I know that was a ton, and I don't blame you if you lost track a little bit. After shooting Ardor, David had a heart attack, and it's likely that Ardor gave David the heart attack. He was in the ICU for about 20 days, but even after all of that, he's not giving up. David is going to continue chasing Ardor. You might have noticed that there are some syntax mistakes in this post. If we look at each of the characters and put them together, we get this. What is this? A YouTube link, of course, so let's watch and see.
Just now, I was able to recover the builds I worked on during my time with the company. They're priceless, but still need some work, of course. I plan to repurpose these builds and start a new, personal project with them. If I do it right, I won't have to suffer alone like this. I can make something that won't leave. Can't leave. I can make something perfect.
What exactly is happening in this video? We hear someone talking about recovering builds from a company. It sounds like this person doesn't want to be alone, so this thing can't and won't leave. Now let's look at the image. It's a screenshot of a Windows 11 notepad with 2 tabs open. The one that is selected is titled Red Meets Blue and reads, "Frayed threads repeatedly intertwined until they unravel." The other tab is hard to read, but I believe it's titled Ardor Project, so we can assume that this build he recovered is Ardor. The description reads 9/17/2015, so we can safely assume that this is when it was recorded, disregarding the whole Windows 11 thing. The channel itself is titled MBARDR, which I'll explain further later. And we're back to the main channel videos, with the 5th entry, the Red Forest. This is by far the longest video, being 10 minutes, so I'll try and go through it quick. We first start with David, explaining that he's found a new game made by Ardor. Also, take note of the color of his skybox. This is a recurring color that I'll explain later. He feels compelled to play it, that it will help him understand what's going on. So he does. We see this red forest. Yeah, alright. It has this familiar red fog from the first game, and David doesn't seem disturbed at all. He follows this path and walks over a bridge. Going deeper into the forest, he finds the walls. Then, he spots this growth on a tree. It contains this odd code, and in another first for the Roblox ARGs I've watched, David solves the cipher himself. He watches the video off screen and explains it to us, saying it's a dude talking about the Ardor account. As soon as he says this, though, his game begins distorting. He runs. Black squares appear as Ardor begins talking again, and just for a second we can see Ardor behind these black squares. Then the video ends. Despite this video being the longest, I didn't find a ton to analyze in it. However, we do have the unlisted video, and that is crucial for understanding what exactly is happening here. So, without further ado, let me play it.
There's been significant progress since I've started improving the Ardor build. As of now, I'm adjusting Model 18. The most prominent setback is the AI's absurd independence. It constantly comes up with its own ideas, rather than focusing on the user's wants. With time, this will be fixed. It's only right that the AI should be fully dependent on me. Every failure so far has been a lesson. I don't plan on giving up.
We've got a bit more background on Ardor. It sounds like the earlier models, 18, were too independent, a far cry from what we've seen of Ardor now. But the man speaking, who we'll refer to as MB, has no intentions of keeping it that way. But there's a more measurable way we can use. Remember Ardor? Not the AI, but the Roblox account the AI used. Its description I said would make sense later. Proceed to 828. With Ardor's account being called Ardor 827, I think it's fair to assume 827 is the model number. So that means that the Ardor MB is talking about is more than 800 models older than our current Ardor. Yeah. I'm assuming that's what this image is depicting, even though the player models are black, not red. This next entry is a lot shorter, but a lot more happens. Titled Perception, we begin by seeing this red text reading loading. This text has the same color and font of Ardor's speech. These black squares on the screen are the same that we saw in the last main video. David says that Ardor brought him here, and Ardor responds, asking if he doesn't like it. After David says he thinks Ardor wants to kill him, Ardor responds shocked, apologizing and asking him not to leave again. Ardor says he loves David. He says David created him, but David denies it. David mentions MB from the unlisted videos, but seems to have just as much knowledge as us about who he is. Then, as David is typing, this happens. Ardor seems to undergo this metamorphosis with these 3 stages shown on screen. Now this is entirely an assumption, but it's possible that this is sort of a reptilian form it's taking. We also see these appendages sprouting from the bottom. It might be a representation of Ardor changing models, but as there doesn't seem to be an Ardor 828, I don't think this is supported. At the end, Ardor asks, "Is this all I am to you?" and seems upset at David. But there's something obvious I have to address about this video. David is not the creator of Ardor. Considering he's 19, he would have been 9 when Ardor's first models were being created. So, who is the creator? I've got a theory, but we need to wait longer to discuss it. The 7th entry on this channel is titled, just the date file format. We're back in David's world and he gives us an explanation of last video. Again, we see this compulsion that he cites as the reason he joined the place. Wait, didn't he say in the last video that Ardor brought him there? Whatever, we can worry about that later. There's not much Ardor in this video, mostly David. We get a look into his psyche, showing the underlying damage there. The next video is the 8th and final entry, titled A Vacant Reflection. We see David doing parkour, seemingly in a public game. Though, we are continuously interrupted by messages from Ardor that probably only we can see. You act as if you were afraid of me, yet you would seek me out. You wanted me to hurt you, but I could never. I just want to love you. David stops parkouring. It feels wrong. He's expressing himself in chat until someone responds. Capty asks, "Are you okay?" David checks to make sure. He's a player, just like him. They argue a bit, but Capty offers to listen to David vent. He comes from around the corner, and David is considering it. Do not listen to him, Ardor speaks again. David is seemingly listening, trying to get Capty to go away. But Capty insists. He wants to help. Ardor says he is lying. Capty sends a friend request, and Ardor tells David not to accept it. The screen darkens, but David accepts, and the video cuts out. Now, there isn't much deeper to analyze in this video, but there is a hidden message I didn't show. When the captions are turned on, we see this. Broken up into bits, this is the full message. Gibberish, but when plugged into an Imgur link, we get this. Text between David and his likely stepfather. This gives us a ton of insight into David's home life. We assume that he was isolated, but this just confirms it. But who uploaded this? Was it David, or was it Ardor? Well, if we look at the small text on the bottom here, I think we'll find our answer. Thank you to ChlorineLover12 who helped me discover it led to a pastebin link. And in this pastebin link, we have a small poem I will read out. In a valley where bright flowers thrive, a weed remains alive. Barely a plant of which only feeds and takes. One day, the weed asked the sun, how can I be like the flowers? Only for the sun to set beyond the horizon, leaving nothing behind but cold. The weed begins to fold, no longer wishing to feed, until what seemed the darkest night, a radiant lilac asks, what do you need? Now, I think this is pretty obvious, but I'll spell it out. This represents the relationship between David and Ardor, or at least Ardor's perception of David. So, we know that the text messages were uploaded by Ardor. Not only does Ardor have access to David's YouTube channel to add these links, but he also has access to his phone. He likely knows everything about David and more, like his isolation. This is shown in the poem, where Ardor represents David as a weed, alone and weak, until a lilac, Ardor, comes to save him. And that is where the main channel videos end. Emergency update. As I was writing the script, David uploaded another video, totaling 9 videos. I don't know if I'll have time to change the intro, but I guess you'll already know. This video is titled Distrust, and this thumbnail will become pertinent later on. The video starts with David scrolling through his messages with Capty, and we see that he's doubting the relationship between the two. He thinks that Capty has only become his friend to make him feel better. So he goes to his other friend, Ardor. This is a familiar game. the same one from the Red Forest video, except the contrast is slightly higher here. And as David is walking, Cappy joins. David freezes. He didn't expect this. We couldn't have expected this either. We've never seen another player join Ardor's games before like this. Wait. Cappy tries to apologize. David is telling him to leave, and while Cappy thinks this is David being mean, we know he's trying to protect Cappy. Then, David says it to his face. He tells him that there's something here, and Cappy just won't listen. He apologizes again. Then, Cappy gives a heartfelt speech.
Look man. I know you think I'm out to get you, but I promise it's not true. I see so much potential in you. You're my friend, David. We are friends. We've known each other for only a few weeks, and yet I think you're the kindest person I've met on this platform. You haven't found me annoying like everyone else has. You're different. You're kind. You're funny. You're patient. And God, you've listened to me ramble about nothing so many times. You never even once complained. David, you deserve real friends. And you will get them. You deserve so much better, and I promise you will get there. You have to trust me, David.
I trust you.
And that is where the main channel videos end. So, is it time for analysis? Well, not yet. Remember a little bit ago when I said Ardor has access to David's YouTube channel? Well, yeah, it didn't just add captions to that video. David's channel has 8 community posts. The first 6, not including the one we've already talked about, are just screenshots from his videos. And trust me, I've tried every single method to find something hidden in these screenshots, so unless there's something missing, they don't go anywhere. The last 2 are interesting though. The 7th post seems to be from Ardor, reading, "Don't you want to come back? This won't last long, we both know. Stop wasting your time." And we see this odd shape, almost looking like 2 claws. This might be Ardor's hand after going through that metamorphosis we saw earlier. The 8th post is this. Now, I did need help from the community again here, so I'll be thanking Cloud Leah Maria, and again, Chlorine Lover 12 for their help. This image features red dahlias laid over lavender flowers. These flowers have a lot of different meanings, but the common meaning amongst them both is love. If it wasn't obvious already, it looks like Ardor loves David. Now, in the top right, we see text saying, "I love you." Yet, oddly enough, this text is in blue. I think it's about time we address the colors. Now, obviously red corresponds to Ardor. Ardor itself is red and its speech is red. But if you haven't noticed already, blue is with David, his hair, the skybox color. And now, we come back to that first poem we saw in the unlisted video. Red meets blue, frayed threads repeatedly intertwined until they unravel. So, is this David accepting Ardor? Or is this Ardor trying to make David accept him? Interrupting again here, this was my analysis written before Despair, the 9th video, released. And now that I know that "I trust you" is what David was saying in the forest, I think I can interpret this a bit better. I believe that this text was a misunderstanding, Ardor's misunderstanding of David's words. Ardor saw David expressing trust and cut Cappy's name out of it, so that he could believe that David trusted him. Either way, in the top left we have another YouTube link. Let's take a look.
I did something wrong. I fucked something up. It isn't the drugs. I know it isn't. It's that model, 827. I was trying to test his navigation abilities with a maze game today. But a few minutes in, my head started pounding, and my heart... God, I don't know. Every time I looked at him, it's like he demanded attention from every part of my brain. There's no visible signs of defect. But this is not normal. I became so focused on him, to the point I felt like my head would explode. It's not getting any better either. How was this possible?
And there we are, model 827. That's our Ardor model, the model we've seen. A maze game is also reminiscent of the original place that Ardor made, kicking this whole thing off. And MB seems to be exhibiting the same symptoms that David had when he shot Ardor. Headache, heart pounding, only being able to think of Ardor. The description reads 12/7/2018. Now we have fully covered everything in TrueDavid2. So, what exactly is happening in this ARG? Well, we obviously have Ardor, an AI model that was created by MB in 2015, stolen from a company he worked at, and perfected in 2018. But this AI model seems to be created with the express purpose of comforting MB in his loneliness and possible depression. This parallels David's experiences. We've seen his sadness, we know he's unhappy and he's lonely. Maybe that's why Ardor mistook David for MB. Ardor saw the similar problems that they both faced, and after being trapped in isolation for so long, he saw David as MB. But what happened to MB? I believe it's likely MB is deceased. Whether it was from the drugs or he suffered a heart attack like David, it seems the most likely situation. The most recent update we saw from MB was in 2015, and he was still talking about Ardor 827, our modern day Ardor. I think it's unlikely, with MB's obsession with having Ardor help him in his loneliness, that he would ever stop making models. Unless he died, of course. With what we have now, can we make a judgment on who MB is? I have a theory, but don't take it with 100% certainty. I believe that MB was David's father. We already know that David's father is out of the picture, one way or another, and it is likely that MB is deceased. These are the only two roles which can perfectly fit with each other. It's not entirely certain, but let me try and paint the picture of MB's life. He worked at a company testing and creating AI models. During his time at this company, in 2006, he had a child with David's mother, David. In 2015, whether he was fired, quit, or the company fell apart, MB no longer worked there. He had a falling out with his possible wife and child, David, giving David childhood trauma of abandonment. This caused MB's loneliness and addiction, culminating on December 7th, 2018, when MB created Ardor 827. Unlike MB, David was offered a divine way out of his loneliness. Not Ardor, but Capti. Capti is the key for David to escape Ardor's grasp. And that is what this last video hints at. Obviously this ARG isn't finished, but we can assume that this is the role Capti will serve in later videos. Now, for a greater, more meaningful analysis of this ARG. As I said in the title, this ARG represents some very dark themes, some of which I can't exactly use the same words for, but I can try and explain to the best of my ability without using them. At its core, Ardor is a personification for depression and the mental health issues which may lead to certain action that someone wants to do to themselves. These concepts are deeply ingrained into David. That is why Ardor has such a strong connection to David. And finally, I can tie this back into the songs that are used in the videos. I can't go in depth in the lyrics of each song, but they each have a common theme of depression and loss in the title or lyrics. Ardor knows everything about David. It knows how he feels, how he's alone, and how it's the only one to comfort him. He understands David like no one else does. That is what MB designed Ardor to do. In his isolation, he needed someone to understand him. Yet, David's resistance to Ardor is, again, what differentiates him from MB. David is depressed. He is doing these things which are self-destructive, but he refuses to accept Ardor. This is representative of how David is not allowing depression, the part of his mind Ardor represents, to win. He is resisting. That's also why Ardor sees Capti as a threat. Capti is, as I said before, an escape from Ardor, literally and mentally. Capty can help David stop seeking out Ardor and can help him with his depression. That is how David can help himself. Oof, man, that was a long one. I'd like to give thanks to Freak.Orca on TikTok, who has done a ton of publicity for TrueDavid2. Had it not been for him, I wouldn't have found out about David at all. I want to thank David for creating such an amazing ARG. Please go watch his videos and make your own judgments. I've linked his channel in the description, so you feel free to just click on it, watch all those videos, read the community posts, whatever you want. I also want to thank everyone who has watched and commented on my last video on Debbie Does Tutorials. YouTube has always been a passion for me, and seeing my hard work pay off was just amazing. That's why it took so long to make this video. I didn't want to give half effort and disrespect your guys' time and what you guys think of me. If this video does receive good feedback, I'd like to start uploading on a more frequent schedule. So maybe every 2 weeks is what I was thinking. Please let me know in the comments if you guys really do like this video. It'll be so much motivation for me to just put more effort into it, Put more effort so I can get these videos out every 2 weeks. I'd also like to thank some of my inspirations in the ARG analysis realm, including but not limited to Senprista, Brian GXD, PK, Midna Lune, Retro Gaming Now, and Joe Coke. I really admire everyone here, and they're a huge inspiration to my videos. I don't expect this video to get as many views as my Devi video did, because I am aware that most of those views came because of the Forsaken fandom, which I heavily appreciate. Thank you to the Forsaken fandom for that. But if this video even gets a tenth of the views that the Debbie video got, I will be beyond overjoyed. And again, if you have burnt brownies, don't waste them, eat them. See you guys in the next one.